The simple process of self-realization for every living entity is described here. First principle is to understand is that, to be understood is that this world is a product of the Supreme Will. There is an identity of this world with the Supreme Lord. This identity is accepted as misconceived by the impersonalists. They say that the Supreme Absolute Truth, transforming himself into the universe, loses his separate existence. Thus they accept the world and everything in it to be the Lord. That is pantheism. Wherein everything is considered to be the Lord. This is the view of the impersonalist. But those who are personal devotees of the Lord take everything to be the property of the Supreme Lord. Everything, whatever we see, is a manifestation of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, everything should be engaged in the service of the Lord. This is oneness. The difference between the impersonalist and the personalist is that the impersonalist does not accept the separate existence of the Lord, but the personalist accepts the Lord. He understands that although he distributes himself in so many ways, he has his separate personal existence. This is described in Bhagavad Gita. I am spread all over the universe in my impersonal form. Everything is resting on me, but I am not present. There is a nice example regarding the sun and sunshine. The sun, by its sunshine, is spread all over the universe. And all the planets rest on sunshine. But all planets are different from sun planet. One cannot say because the planets are resting on sunshine, these planets are also the sun. Similarly, the impersonalist or pantheistic view that everything is God is not a very intelligent proposal. The real position, as explained by the Lord himself, is that although nothing can exist without him, it is not a fact that everything is him. He is different from everything. So here also the Lord says, you will see everything in the world to be non-different from me. This means that everything should be considered as a product of Lord's energy. And therefore everything should be employed in the service of the Lord. One's energy should be utilized for one's self-interest. That is the perfection of energy. This energy can be utilized for self-interest if one is compassionate. A person in Krishna consciousness, a devotee of the Lord, is always compassionate. He is not satisfied that only he himself is a devotee, but he tries to distribute the knowledge of devotion service to everyone. There are many devotees of the Lord who faced many risks in distributing the devotion service of the Lord to people in general. That should be done. It is also said that a person who goes to the temple of the Lord and worships with great devotion, but who does not show sympathy to people in general or show respect to other devotees, is considered to be a third-class devotee. Second-class devotee is he who is merciful and compassionate to the fallen. The second-class devotee is always cognizant of his position as an eternal servant of the Lord. He therefore makes friendship with the devotees of the Lord, acts compassionately towards the general public in teaching them devotional service, and refuses to cooperate or associate with non-devotees. As long as one is not compassionate to people in general in his devotional service to the Lord, he is third class devotee. The first class devotee gives assurance to every living being that there is no fear of this material existence. Let us live in Krishna consciousness and conquer the naysayings of material existence. It is indicated here that Kardama Muni was directed by the Lord to be very compassionate and liberal in his householder life and to give assurance to the people in his renounced life. A sannyasi in the renounced order of life is meant to give enlightenment to the people, should travel going from home to enlighten. Householder by spell of Maya becomes absorbed in family affairs and forgets his relationship with Krishna. If he dies in forgetfulness like cats and dogs, then his life is spoiled. It is the duty of the sannyasi, therefore, to go and awaken the forgetful souls with enlightenment of their eternal relationship with the Lord and to engage them in devotion service. The devotee should show mercy to the fallen souls and also give them the assurance of fearlessness. As soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he is convinced that he is protected by the Lord. Fear itself is afraid of the Lord. Therefore, what has he to do with fearfulness? To award fearlessness to the common man is the greatest act of charity. A sannyasi, or one who is in renounced order of life, should wander from door to door, from village to village, from town to town, from country to country, all over the world, as far as he is able to travel and enlighten the householders about Krishna consciousness. A person who is a householder but is initiated, a person who is householder but is initiated by a sannyasi has a duty to spread Krishna consciousness at home. As far as possible, he should call his friends and neighbors to his house and hold classes in Krishna consciousness. Holding a class means chanting the holy name of Krishna and speaking from Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. There are immense literatures for spreading Krishna consciousness, and it is a duty of each and every householder to learn about Krishna from his sannyasi spiritual master. There is a division of labor in the Lord's service. The householder's duty is to earn money because the sannyasi is not supposed to earn money but is completely dependent on this householder. The householder should earn money by business or by profession and spend at least 50% of his income to spread Krishna consciousness. 25% he can spend for his family, and 25% he should save to meet emergencies. This example was shown by Rupa Goswami, so devotees should follow it. Actually, to be one with the Supreme Lord means to be one with the interest of the Lord. Becoming one with the Supreme Lord does not imply becoming as great as the Supreme Lord. It is impossible. The part is never equal to the whole. The living entity is always a minute particle, minute part. Therefore, his oneness with the Lord is that he is interested in the interest of the Lord. The Lord wants every living entity to always think about him, to be his devotee, and always worship him. This is clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita. Man mana bhava mad bhakta. Krishna wants everyone always to think of him. Everyone should always offer obeisances to him. This is the will of the Supreme Lord. And the devotee should try to fulfill his desire. Since the Lord is unlimited, his desire is also unlimited. There is no stoppage, and therefore the service of the devotee is also unlimited. In the transcendental world, there is unlimited competition between the Lord and the servitor. The Lord wants to fulfill his desires unlimitedly, and the devotee also serves him to fulfill his unlimited desires. There is unlimited oneness of interest between the Lord and his devotee. So this is a very hard-hitting verse and purport to remove the misconception that everything is God, therefore there is no God. Why are you looking for God? They say. You are God. Everything is God. This is true. But this is half-truth. This is true according to our Siddhanta also. Everything is God, because everything is God, because everything is come from Him. And just because everything came from Him, He does not go into non-existence. He is there separately from everything. That means everything is God and is energy. It's important to understand this. To separate all the material energy, everything from God completely is also not the complete philosophy, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is no second truth other than Krishna in existence. Krishna and Krishna's energy. So many energies may come out of Him, but yet the source remains undiminished. 1 minus 1 is equal to 1. Achintya Bheda Veda Tattva means simultaneously one and different. How it is one? Because we are His energy, we cannot be separate from Him. We cannot be independent of Him. We cannot be separate from Him. We cannot be a substance which is independent of Krishna. We have to be from Krishna substance only. A part of water, a drop of water is salty, drop of water are all the qualities of water. The ocean is also water. There is a substance in the drop, there is a substance in the ocean called water, having quantity is different, that's all. So in the same way, Krishna has so many energies, but it cannot be different from Krishna. If you say it's different from Krishna, then there is another existence apart from God. There cannot be two existences. God is one and everything is coming from Him. Shakti and Shaktiman. Very beautifully Srila Prabhupada has explained in this purport. And he gives a meaning of what is pantheism. There are two kinds of theism. One is called pantheism and another is called monotheism. Monotheism. Practically everybody in this country thinks that, and not only thinks, it takes pride in saying that, oh, India's philosophy is pantheistic. You can worship him, you can worship him, you can worship anything, you can worship anything. Pantheistic. That is the reason why India is very tolerant, they say. And they pride, very good, pantheism. It is a fact that the Lord permits faith to grow in any direction. Ye tamam prapadyante tam sate bhajamyaham. You approach the demigods that I am seated in their heart and I will strengthen your faith so that you can spiritually develop with the principle of surrendering to somebody, decreasing your lauding tendency, accepting somebody above you. So there is no doubt that Krishna only has created all these devatas, all these demigods. Krishna only has created demigod worships also. Demigods worships are in the Shastras, no? Demigod worships are in the Shastra. And therefore people are following that. But now modern educated Indians, they think they are very intelligent and they give a misfit or they fit it intellectually to say that this is pantheism. Sanatana Dharma is pantheism. It is not. Sanatana Dharma, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is monotheistic and pantheistic also. We also worship Guru like Krishna, like they worship demigods. Not that we worship only Krishna. We worship Guru. But we worship Guru in connection with Krishna. We worship Guru as good as Krishna. This question was asked to me in early days in Krishna consciousness. The Krishna alone is God, why you should worship human being? See, in ISKCON also you are worshipping a human being. Only God should be worshipped. Krishna says, Manmana bhava bhakto madhyaji. Everything in this world is worshipable in connection with Krishna. To the degree to which it is purely connected to the interest of Krishna. Material energy is there. You get money for Krishna's service, it is worshipable. The money in the karmi's hand is not worshipable because it is separated interest. Because everything belongs to Krishna. A temple is built, this building is worshipable. It is Lord's paraphernalia. It is not different from Him in terms of His paraphernalia, His energy. And yet Krishna is Krishna. When we say this building is Krishna, you cannot say, okay, that's all. Krishna has become building, that is the end. God is this building. Everything has come from God, so therefore everything is God. But everything is part of God. He is the Supreme. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bhavunano vidadati kaman. One Supreme Eternal is maintaining many Supreme Eternal. One chief living entity and all others are living entities. And He is maintaining everything. He is under His will, the entire material creation has come. The purpose of existence is Krishna's enjoyment. Then you may say, what about my enjoyment? The moment you say, what about my enjoyment, that is not you. That is not you. The one whom you think that you have to enjoy, so that's not you. That is a false ego who is speaking. The purpose of existence is anandamayo-abhyasat. That means your pure spirit soul is also included in that. How that process happens in the spiritual world, being one with the interest of the Lord and serving the Lord, that we cannot experience in the material world. That oneness. So therefore Kadwa Muni is advised, you try to see this oneness and difference. And therefore Krishna is instructing him, show compassion to all living entities. Why? Because the souls are non-different from Krishna. You will attain self-realization. And how is self-realization defined? Then you will perceive your own self as well as the universe is in me and myself in you. See, this is very important to counteract the Mayavadi understanding. In simple terms, it is like one half they take, everything has become this. It is called theory of transformation. God, they don't say even a person. Supreme absolute truth is there, Brahman, that has transformed him to everything. There is no separate God. Krishna consciousness really presents what is due respect for every devata, every deity, and who is the supreme source of all. The supreme deity is Vishnu, Lord Krishna. That is clearly explained in Krishna conscious philosophy, and which is there in Bhagavatam. So more or less, when you say pantheistic, it simply means that it is a philosophy of practically atheism. You don't accept there is one supreme Lord who is above everybody. You don't accept. And he is not ordinary, he is a supreme Lord, and he is the purpose. You are not the purpose of existence. You don't exist for yourself. The moment you want to exist for yourself, you come into this material world. When you exist for him, you are one with him. When you want to exist yourself, then you are out in the material world. That is why in the material world, nobody wants to surrender. Everybody thinks he is independent. Because that is what you desired, and that is what you are come into this material world. And then the Lord is telling Kardama Muni, give assurance of safety to all. In the material world, what safety to all? You give assurance of safety to all. No problem, this material world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. No doubt, Krishna says so. But if you become Krishna conscious, it is not dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Because he is a supreme controller. You will be protected always. Why fear material energy? Material energy is fully under his control. Why should we be afraid? When you want to walk into an electrical substation, everywhere high power, high voltage, anywhere you touch wrongly, you will kill yourself. But if you are confident that somebody who is with you, who is controlling that whole setup, will you fear? You won't fear. But the fact is that it is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Anywhere you do wrongly, it will hit you. But because the designer of that is with you, designer and controller, why do you have to worry? You can exist peacefully, as Prabhupada is saying. This is a very important thing. Even though we say dukkhalayam ashashvatam, yes, in the ultimate sense also dukkhalayam ashashvatam, but in the meaning of when we preach to materialists, we should not use too much of the dukkhalayam ashashvatam to them. They tend to think, oh, so God also cannot help you, huh? So what is this philosophy? No, in this dukkhalayam you can be sukha. If you become Krishna conscious, you chant Hare Krishna. Even though this world is dukkhalayam, see our life, are we not happy? Are we not happy? We are in the material world, but are we not happy? Are we not protected? Are we not taken care of? We are. And if there is any difficulty, then the devotee thinks it is Krishna's mercy, not that God is forgotten to take care of me. Suppose I get some sickness today, suppose I have some problems, it is Krishna's mercy. I am directly under the control of the Lord. Lord wants to teach me something, Lord wants to make me progress in spiritual life. I have given my life to the Lord, Lord is in charge of my life. My life means Lord is in charge of my good and bad in my life. I am born in this body with good and bad, Papa and Punya. Both the Lord is in charge. He wants to give me dukkha, He will give me dukkha. He wants to give me sukha, He will give sukha. And simultaneously, Lord is preaching to me, rise above the sukha and dukkha. This world is dukkhalayam. So He will make you transcend this material energy. He doesn't want you to settle in this material world. But for the sake of preaching Krishna consciousness, the devotee doesn't matter. Lord is there as a Lord's order carrier. He is protected and he goes on with his service. There is no fear. He is fearless. So to give Krishna consciousness to somebody, to give a life of surrendering to Krishna, is something which is the greatest welfare, materially also, which we can give. That is compassion. To award fearlessness to the common man is the greatest act of charity. So that's what Prabhupada says, the highest welfare activity is to give Krishna consciousness. Now another interesting thing also comes up in this matter is how Prabhupada is talking about compassion. The energy can be utilized for real self-interest if one is compassionate. Person in Krishna consciousness, a devotee of the Lord, is always compassionate. He is not satisfied only he himself is a devotee, but he tries to distribute the knowledge of devotion service to everyone. There are many devotees of the Lord who face many risks in distributing devotion service. Now this also, of course, the highest welfare activity is to give out Krishna consciousness. That is the highest welfare activity. That means that is compassion to the soul. But if you see the living entity as entrapped in this material world and he is suffering, and because of his suffering he is not able to even receive Krishna consciousness. And if somebody can help in that matter, that is also called compassion. That is also called compassion. Just like if you have no food, how can you think? You cannot think. How can you do service? You cannot do service. Let us say you have no education. What is education? Education means training in thinking. Education means trained thinking. Education is tapasya also. It's a trained thinking. Even modern education, even if it is karmi education, it's a tapas, a trained thinking. It has value. If you have a trained thinking, then it is very easy to understand the scriptures. Agree or not? Or can you, no, you can understand without that. This yantra is required. A trained yantra is required. They grasp the philosophy. For instance, this oneness and simultaneous oneness and difference. It requires sharp intelligence to understand this. Sharp intelligence means it has to be trained. Trained in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Of course, these things were in the earlier days according to our Vedic system, Gurukula system. Nobody advanced in age. No boy advanced in age without going through Gurukula system. And in that system, he learns all these things. His mind is completely trained. So training is very essential. Education is very essential. So if connected to Krishna, if you can feed somebody, that is also Krishna consciousness. Connected to Krishna, you cannot feed, if you don't feed somebody, if you can, especially these are rules for householders. If you cannot feed someone, then that is stone-heartedness. Maybe 10 people, 10 living entities are there, they are all suffering by hunger. Maybe if you support their hunger of these 10 people, maybe out of that 2 may take to spiritual life. 1 may take to spiritual life. There is no guarantee that if their hunger is satisfied, they can take to devotion service. But they can also. But if hunger is not satisfied, none of them will take to devotion service. Karma, bad karma. So therefore, this is all in connection with this perception. The perception of you will perceive your own self as well as all the universe is in me and myself in you. You cannot have compassion unless you see the other living entities as one with you. Just by chance, circumstantially today I am better than that living entity. Circumstantially I have food, he does not have food. Circumstantially, again you compare. Circumstantially you see, okay, this man is got money, plenty of money, but he is eating bhoga, I am eating prasada. Next level. So giving prasadam is the highest, mercy of the Lord is the highest purifying thing that you can do to a hungry person. So that is why Prabhupada said distribute food. You should see in Mahabharata, the highest virtue, Annadhana. And this is preached by Krishna to Yudhishthira. And repeatedly it comes Annadhana, Annadhana. It doesn't say Prasadadana. That is a higher philosophy. But that is also philosophy. Because Anna is coming from Krishna. Anna is coming from God. And human life is very precious on this earth. And without Anna, human life cannot conduct itself into self-realization. That is why the Annadhana is considered to be. One should not think these are all simply materialistic. Why would Krishna encourage that? There are gradations of truths. Prasadam, making that Anna into Prasadam is great. But even if people think that food is coming from temple, that itself is prasadam. If you connect something to Krishna, it becomes spiritual in your mind. It becomes spiritual, it has spiritual effect. Those are all rituals we are saying. Make a plate, go before the Lord, give it to Him. Yes, that higher personalism is there. It's a fact that the Lord eats out of the plate. But one should not limit Lord's Leela to only that. There are so many occasions where mass cooking was being done for big festivals. And Prabhupada, so many standards of cleanliness and now could not have been followed in that mass production. No, this becomes prasadam. Prabhupada said, okay, no problem. Hire the cooks. Do it. So you cannot limit God to that, to a ritual. That is the only way Krishna will take food is when you go and, put a plate before Him. He is omnipotent. He sees the intent of the devotees is to distribute my mercy. He makes everything prasadam. So in other words, a Vaishnava should be compassionate. A Vaishnava cannot be hard-hearted. Just because, we have got a higher aim, we have got a higher goal of doing the highest welfare for the soul, we should not criticize somebody who is doing Annadhana. That is all useless. You are not giving prasadam. A total neophyte. You have to understand the full picture. How can you say that? Some benefit is there. A householder helps people with medicines, help people, sick people. It's all useless. No, for that living entity at that stage of his spiritual development, that is something that is, we can tell. See, there are higher things. Very nice, you are doing this. You are doing charity, it's very nice. Because he is practicing compassion to his fellow beings. He is seeing somewhere that he is seeing other suffering is my suffering. He is seeing. Which is a very good quality. For a Vaishnava, it is very important quality for Krishna. Then why he does not, if he is feeling, suffering for so many people in the, are suffering in the outside material world. Yeah, in our heart we feel. But we are saying that, we are seeing that my limited capacity as a servant of Krishna, I have been assigned to do certain kind of services where maximum service can be done to the Lord. So I will focus on giving Krishna consciousness to the population. Doesn't necessarily mean all others are useless activities. I am a preacher. I will talk about Krishna. That is only devotion service. That is only spiritual. That is only pleasing to Krishna. So this holier than thou attitude of devotee should go. They become very proud. If you see somebody is practicing compassion, that should be encouraged. Then tell them what is the highest level of compassion, step by step. Why all these things are given in the Shastras? Dhana, yajna, dhana, tapa. Even in 18th chapter, Krishna says one should not give up. Even great souls who are spiritually elevated don't give up these three things. So again, in this Kardama Muni's chapter, conversation between Manu and Kardama Muni, a lot of wonderful things are coming out, which shows how Krishna consciousness is all inclusive. All inclusive. It doesn't, this cannot be Krishna conscious. You cannot put aside like that. There is a perception, there is a view for the right kind of people, right time, right activity is prescribed. So now we feed Krishna consciousness, we feed prasadam, we feed so many kids we feeding. One should not think that no, you're not really feeding their stomach, you're feeding their soul. This is a trick to feed the soul. It's all nonsense. You are concocted ideas. You are feeding their stomach. There is compassion, there is feeling. There is feeling for every hungry people on this earth. Vaishnava has feeling. Let me do how much I can do best to the maximum. If possible, we want to remove hunger from everybody in this earth. But it doesn't end there. There is hunger of body, there is hunger of mind, there is hunger of intelligence, then there is hunger of soul. So when we give prasadam, then there is this hunger, not only stomach, but it is having, it purifies the mind. It gives benefit to the soul of honoring prasadam, tasting prasadam, appreciating prasadam, because it is not different from the Lord. Just see how broad Krishna consciousness is, how broad we should think of Krishna consciousness. We should not blabber, some half-baked knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Suddenly now I have become devotee, I have become Krishna conscious. There is no meaning to any compassion. You wrongly quote, wise lament not for the living nor the dead. Why are you lamenting at that hungry person? It's all Maya. for a higher duty, as Krishna prescribed to Arjuna, while he is appreciated for his quality of kindness and compassion, nobody condemns Arjuna for feeling, oh, how I can kill these people. For that feeling, he is not called Maya. He was called, why was Arjuna be in Maya? Not because of that feeling of compassion. How can I kill all these people? He was in Maya because after that feeling, he refused to fight. Now there was a Lord is with him. It is Lord has taken a decision that this war should happen. There is a higher cause, interest of the Lord is there. Lord has decided to cleanse this world of all the people, demons. So now you fight. After having understood that, Arjuna said, I will fight. Now it's not that, when Arjuna decided to follow what Krishna said, he is thinking, Arjuna is thinking, I should become stone-like. That's what the message of Bhagavad Gita is. I should not have any compassion I should not think. No, it's very good quality, compassion. Vaishnavas develop this compassion. They feel for the suffering. Why would Prabhupada go to America to preach Krishna consciousness? Tell me. He could have sat in India. There was no hope that they will accept Krishna consciousness. He still went there. And whatever way he could administer Krishna consciousness to the degree to which how many tablets they could take, he gave them. To start with. He gave them Krishna Prasadam, gave them chanting, gave them philosophy. So this is a very, Achintya Bheda Veda Tattva is it's a wonderful exposition of absolute truth from Vedanta, from Bhagavatam, everywhere. So this devotees, Vaishnavas should be very expert. They should not go to one extreme. Because they also have to identify, Mamay Vamsha Jivaloke, I am Krishna's Samsha. I am not anybody else. I am not this body. I have the dignity, spiritual dignity of being none other than God's Amsha. Right? You say, I am not this, I am not this, I am this, you get pride. In the beginning, to have that pride is good. I am not this crazy body here. Don't undermine me. I am God's Amsha. That ego is good. That ego is good. I am not this matter. I am this matterer. I am God's Amsha. You will come out of the bodily concept. Afterwards, another humility lesson Krishna will give. Because the pride with which you said, he'll make you one day say in a pure way, I am this eternal servant of Krishna, in a humble way. Let the exercise begin now. Just like we do mixed devotional service. Any questions? It's too late, I think. Tomorrow I'll continue if I'm there for the class. I got some other things also to tell with respect to compassion. Grandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.